What's up, everybody? This is Dagobah Days with the Toy Photographers Podcast. We have an incredible episode for you guys today. We have the one, the only Mr. Eye of Uatu. What is up, Tom? How you doing, man?
Good, Dakota. How are you, man?
Dude, doing so good, man. I just want to say, first off, I'm a big fan of your account. I love your stuff. You're welcome. I love, your colors. The thing that really drew me to your account initially was the color schemes. And I was just looking at your grid and scrolling. I was like, this dude is just like eye candy. Like everything you post is just, makes me feel so happy at a kid level on that, you know what I'm saying? Like at a very inner child level. And
well,
so,
you're probably not seeing the stuff that I'm not posting. That would take away that whole childlike wonder, I think.
well, you're very tasteful in the way that you post. So I'm excited, man, to get into this. And I know that there's a lot more to you than just your Instagram account. But welcome to the show. And I'm just going to jump right into it, man. So, like, how long have you been doing toy photography?
So the actual, I would say, the Eye of Uatu account itself, the toy photography on it hasn't even been the full length of that account. I started that account with a different idea in mind entirely.
Okay.
So I probably started that account. It would be 4 years come April, so it's about 3.5 years ago. And probably I would say it took me about 3-4 months before I started kind of dipping more into toy photography, but it was more like just nerd stuff at first. It was like, hey, what new movies are coming out? Here's some stuff from it. Here's news. Let's talk about this kind of stuff. It was really more of just a way for me to just discuss stuff because I had moved to LA. I lived alone. And I just didn't have like a network of friends around me that, like the same thing. So it was like, hey, let me use the internet for that network. And
Wow.
I started to kind of get that bounce back. I started having conversations and that kind of like blew up after that.
That's amazing because that's one thing I always admire about, your account and the things that you do is you're such a lengthy captioner. You always have the most lengthy captions, but those are the ones that I always end up reading the entire thing. I love that stuff. So you initially started out as a way to just kind of create a community for yourself, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Having that community, having that connections. So that's really cool. So you've been doing toy photography. You said like 4 or 5 years.
So like I guess long ago, probably like 10 years ago, I used to dabble. I had a Tumblr account for a stupid toy photography idea thing that I
Okay.
used to heavily inspired by like the works I used to see around that time of like Avanot and Sergeant Banana, I think started to kind of get like, popping up a little bit after that kind of thing. And like I started seeing those guys, and I'm like, oh, I just kind of start popping in some photography shots. But my stuff was more like a joke. It was, hey, I have this Hugh Jackman head. Let me put it on this other figure, and I'll call it the Jackman Showcase. But I'll just be random figures with Hugh Jackman's head on it, and it was dumb. But so that
Funny though.
it was very short lived, but like definitely not at all serious. It was just a way for me to kind of like take some pictures, do some funny stuff, make my friends laugh, and after that. But then but the actual real toy photography stuff, like me actually taking in more of a serious kind of hobby on the side, was about 3 years ago this time.
Was there ever a time that you just said to yourself, like, this is it. This is my hobby. This is the thing I do. Because I know you have a lot of interests besides toy photography. And before we pressed record, we were talking a lot about video games. Was this ever something that you just decided consciously, this is my thing? Did you ever just decide that, or how did that kind of evolve for you?
Yeah, actually, there was actually a clear moment for me that I remember. So my account, when I first kind of started it, was definitely it like hovered around, 300, 400 followers, which starting from scratch was like mind blowing to me that 400 people wanted to just see me talk about random dumb stuff. And then I started kind of like posting pictures of my collection. And that's where the toy community kind of started to like slowly trickle into my account, being like, hey, you should do more pictures of this stuff, show more of your collection kind of stuff. And like,
Ah.
some of the names that I now know the people like more closely were like really kind of encouraging. And I started to do that more. And then I remember way back when, some of the Funko people were like, you should start doing the session. Like Funko has a session. And then I found out about the whole Toy Pop session and got into that stuff. And, it was still at that time, it was like, we could take a quick picture and post it kind of thing. I wasn't taking it seriously. The first Comic Con I went to after that, so I started my account in April, it would be that July, so a couple months later. I just happened to be at San Diego Comic Con with an exhibitor pass, and I started to post some stuff that I was seeing early before the show opened, and all of a sudden, my account went from like 300 followers to like 2,000 something at the end of
Wow.
first day, and I'm like, I don't know, and that was like at that time, I'm like, I gotta turn off notifications on my phone. Like, I don't know what's like this is bizarre. I don't know what to do, but I guess I'll just ride this kind of wave.
Whoa.
Yeah. So when Comic Con ended, I started taking pictures and I was like, hey guys, I'm just gonna kind of continue with what I was doing. I was very forward about it. I'm like, I know I'm gonna lose like probably 1,500 of you guys.
Right.
Just joined it. But weirdly, no one left. And instead, the exact opposite happened. I started to like see, a lot more engagement, a lot more people talking with me, and I started having a lot more DM conversations, stuff like that. And so that Christmas or that New Year's around that time, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make this a promise to myself, a promise to you guys. I'm going to start concentrating more on what I'm putting out there and try to do better stuff. Like, I am an artist in my day job, but I never really brought the stuff that I learned, through going to art school and all that kind of stuff into my photography. I was just taking pictures of toys, fun angles, funny ideas, kind of dumb stuff. But it was really that, like, I don't know, like, I guess I was scared by the community into doing it, but in a good way, like in an encouraging way. I was like more of like, there's pressure, but the only person putting the pressure on was myself. And I felt the need to, put that back out and like, okay, I have eyes on me. Let me make sure that I'm repaying their kindness with, their commenting, their liking, all that stuff with some stuff that I'm actually putting time into. And so that's kind of when I started.
Oh, nice. That's amazing. I don't mean to interrupt you. I just love the fact that you're so thoughtful about that because, a lot of people just kind of do the opposite almost, where they're expecting people to follow them because their content is so good or they
Yeah.
think that it's so good. And you kind of approached it from the opposite aspect and you were just putting it out there and putting better content, over time. And you wanted to repay those people that followed you. And that's amazing, man. That's a great kind of way to look at Instagram and as a way to kind of encourage other people with great content. That's awesome.
I was always intimidated by the number of people that like had eyes on my stuff. And it was like that thing where it's just like, okay, I got to make there a reason. Like, at least I got to, if so many people are going to be seeing the stuff, and this is kind of before the more algorithm changes that kind of happened with Instagram. I know it's a completely different world now than it
Yeah.
was, even 2, 3 years ago. And it was that thing like, okay, I should be, I want to be proud of what I put out there. And listening to the cast he kind of had with Jesse, I definitely he brought up that great point. Like, you are kind of providing these moments of brightness for people like through the course of their day. And like kind of knowing that people are coming to your stuff because they like the characters, they like the toys, the stuff that you're shooting, and they're genuinely liking it. I'm not going out there asking people like, hey, like my stuff, follow me at all. It was that thing where like people are liking it, let me try to give them more stuff to like, I guess, in a weird way. I don't know. It's fun. Just,
And
I don't know.
and
See,
thank God that you're not going out there and doing, "Will you please follow me?" I can't stand that stuff, man. I really can't, and I don't know why it drives me nuts, but, like, if you're going to have enough time in your day to repost, I don't know if it's a robot or what happens, but if you're gonna go post on someone asking them, begging them to follow you, maybe your content's really not worthwhile enough to be able to have a following in the first place, you know what I'm saying?
right.
Like, that stuff kinda happens, over time, and it happens naturally and organically like yours did, where your content got better and you were able to put out amazing content and refine it over time. Exactly, it's like if you want to have great content, a great following, put out the best of the best and it'll follow, it'll happen naturally.
Right. That's the thing with like all artwork, right? Is like the work itself kind of speaks for itself. Like, you got to let the work show itself. And like if you're out there and you're putting a face out there being like, hey, follow up or follow, or hey man, come see my picture or come see my posts. I'm doing all this stuff. Like, because I see that sometimes in comments, things like that. And instead of that, like what I do is when I get a comment and someone writes like something insightful, they don't have to like say, come see my page. I'm instantly clicking on their picture, be like, oh, this
Me
person's
too.
cool. Let me go see what they're doing. And that's how I ended up. I follow almost 2,000 accounts, right? And so like a lot of those are like they're just people that inspired me to go check out their stuff and follow them. Their work then made me want to, or their conversations. It doesn't even have to be their photographs. It's like they wrote me over DM and we had a really good conversation. And so, of course, I'm going to follow, this friendship that I kind of have on the side. But if you started off with like a, hey, man, I like your stuff. You should come check out my stuff. Follow me and I'll follow you and like unfollow me and then follow me again, or just so they keep popping up in notifications. That's not the way to do it. That's just more like it's companies market themselves. People don't need to market themselves. People should just be people, right? And you want to hang out and surround yourself with the people that you want to surround yourself with.
Right. I love that, man. I really do. I respect that. That's amazing, and not a lot of people have that mentality, and I commend it. That's amazing.
Well, also, I want to say something that you're doing with the 112 Collective feature page that you had. I found a lot of accounts that you've been featuring on there that I'm like the work. I didn't even know the people, and I'm like, this work is amazing. Let me go to this person's page, and then I've been blown away by whole pages. And
Oh,
my
man, I
it's
know.
it's amazing, and it's like I gotta give a big tip of the hat and a major props to all the feature pages out there that are doing it, and, like, I found so much stuff, just from the feature pages. They were, like, honestly, when starting out, like, the backbone of the community to kinda keep, the new people at the forefront and get new eyes on them and stuff like that, and it's great.
I have to give a shout out to Matt over at Star Wars: The Black Series, and I cannot remember which podcast episode that I have shouted him out before, but I've got to give another shout out. So, Matt, he was the forerunner for me whenever I started toy photography and I posted a shot, he reposted mine, and that kind of opened my eyes, like you said, to the world of other people's art and being
Yeah,
able to just go and say, "Oh my gosh, there's other people like me doing this
yeah.
thing." And, it's a game changer when you're able to have a platform that you're able to celebrate others people's things. You're not doing it, you know what I mean, to gain a following. I mean, it happens naturally. Followings happen naturally, but you're doing it to just really support other people's art and to create conversations and dialogue. And I've created so many conversations through the 112 Collective feature page that I would not trade for the world. You know, I mean, the account is amazing, but the friendships that I've discovered and be able to foster through this. And I think I started talking to you through the 112 Collective feature page,
Absolutely.
and just being able to reach out to people. It's amazing. And just having that like-minded uh attitude about toy photography, it's just you know, it gives you the warm fuzzies for
Yeah.
sure.
It's
For
like,
sure.
this is a strange term to use because, it has a different kind of connotation, I think, maybe to it, but I really do see feature pages as kind of being the gatekeeper, but not in the way of where they prevent people from coming in. It's more they are the ones opening the door
Oh, yeah.
world, right, of toy photography because they're like, "Hey, take a look at this. Here's a page of just hundreds upon hundreds, sometimes thousands of different artists doing this one craft. And, take a look. If you like what you see, go to their page. Take a look even more, follow them, like them, have a conversation with them kind of stuff." And like you had that interaction with Matt from Star Wars Black Series. Matt from Where Toys Dwell did the exact same thing for me. He used to like, feature me, he'd have conversations on the side with me, stuff like that. And it was like he is who opened up my eyes to the greater community. And I can't thank him enough for that.
Nice. Shout out to Matt at Where Toys Dwell. He's a great guy too.
He really
And
is.
and just, kinda going with that same, flow of conversation, I'm curious, man, have you noticed, when you first began toy photography, any improvements in your methods or maybe the way that you approach toy photography? What do you think is something that when you first started that, you would say, "Okay, I definitely don't do that anymore," or, I'm curious to see what the way that you approach it nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, I would say if you were to go back to the first toy photos I started to post versus like my last post or this post recently, It is night and day. I at least think so. I definitely reference back to my first toy. I'm using air quotes here, to quote unquote toy photography post. I definitely used to take a figure, maybe kind of come up with an idea, put it down. I did a lot more. I started basically just doing pure outdoor photography. I always feared indoor lighting setups, that kind of stuff. The more controlled stuff, I'd rather let nature decide whether or not I got a good shot or not in the beginning,
Nice.
which was it was a fun challenge in its own right. But nowadays, I think about it a lot more before I go in. Sometimes a shot like I did a series very recently where it was Darth Maul versus Kylo Ren, and that was just like an idea I had right before I went off to a coffee shop. I like literally just set them up and I was like, okay, let me do this one pose. And as I had them there, I'm like, let me do this other pose. I bet it'll be kind of even cooler. And I did. I'm like, this is even better. But I shoot now primarily focused on using techniques I learned in, I went to school at RISD back in the early 2000s. And I used to struggle a lot with color theory and different kind of like lights and shadows. And like that was a thing that I learned a lot at school. And that was the stuff that I bring to a lot of my day job and work. And I was like, I never brought this to toy photography until a couple of years ago. And now that is like my primary focus. I definitely try to like light things in a way that show off the sculpt, but also that's kind of true to a character, which is when I first started, I would literally just plop the character down, set it up, maybe try to get a good composition in frame in the viewfinder, and then shoot. But now it's like it's way more involved. You'll rarely ever see me not shooting on a tripod, not see me like holding different kind of like lighting. Even if I'm shooting outdoor, I'll introduce some kind of like lighting color for like a small little reflection that probably no one else will notice. But it's like those little tiny details is what I focus on now that I definitely didn't in the beginning.
That's amazing because when I started out the interview with you, that's the thing that I noticed the most was the color, palette of your Instagram account. And the fact that you said that you really struggle with it in the beginning is so amazing because I'm like, okay, there's hope for me because I definitely struggle with that too because, you know, looking at, your stuff, you have such a diverse range of color and tones and, being able to distinguish, like you said, the characters and the features, and that really it dramatically makes the pictures look not only lifelike, but just it just draws your eye to them, and I can't look away, man. And like I said, it's eye candy. It really is eye candy.
It
And
was it was a long road for sure. Trust me, there was a long time in the beginning. I'm talking about way before like toy photography, way before the Instagram account, like early 2000s, where I was like, I don't think I'm ever going to understand this color contrast next to other color kind of situational thinking, and I owe it all to like the instructors that kind of held my hand through the way. It was just it was great.
wow, that's incredible, man. You give me hope for myself and for many, many people out there that want to get as good as you are. That's incredible, man. So, I mean, I'm curious now, like, how do you approach toy photography? Because originally you approached this as a community aspect and wanted that interaction. Are you now more interested in the process of your photography or the posting process?
I think so. It's funny because listening to the cast that you had just done with very recently and with Jason, work more or less, he kind of said that it is like well, a little of both, right? And I completely agree with him on that. It's like I love the process. The idea of this shooting photos, I will spend hours upon hours trying to get the right one photo sometimes. And then even more so in editing. I love the editing process is my favorite part of the process of shooting. Um, but that said, the conversations and the responses from the community and stuff like that. Not even like the response on my post that I just posted. It's like what that then turns into. Like I'll have a DM from someone and be like, "Oh, dude, you just posted this shot of Darth Maul. Oh man, I love Darth Maul because of this and that." And they kind of go into talking about the Clone Wars cartoons, and then so it's like
Nice.
it's kind of like how that one informs the other, right? The process informs the interaction in a way, and I love that
That
aspect.
is so freaking cool, man. And, like I mentioned before, and I'll mention it probably again before the interview's out, you and your lengthy captions keep the engagement going. And I am starting to really question whether or not whether I care because of the length of my my
Oh, no.
engagements on my posts. I'm like, "Oh, do I really care as much as Tom does?" Like, I really need to step up my game on my comments.
My comments are, I have a hard time. You might even pick up on this from me speaking. I'm very verbose. I use like I think about things in great detail. I'm a classic overthinker, and that comes out in the way that I speak, the way that I write, and the way I interact with people. Like honestly, when I'm talking with someone in my own head, there's a little me yelling, "Hey Tom, shut the hell up! You got to stop now. No one cares. Let them talk and listen." It's like that's constantly happening in my own head. And same thing when I'm writing. It's I use my page though as like a open journal for myself. Like a lot of it is my own thought process. So a lot of stuff that you're seeing that are like long captions are really just my internal ramblings.
Right.
If someone reads it and we respond to it, oh my god, that makes my day. Like honestly, I will go off and we'll have a long, lengthy back and forth conversation in the comments, and it'll be great. Or we'll transition that over to DM, as even better. But I fully expect maybe that's like 2% of the people that look at my page.
Sure, sure. Yeah, it's interesting that you look at it as a journal and almost like I don't know if the word memoir is correct or not here in this usage, but it's something that you're able to kind of look into your life and what you're going through. And, you still to this day kind of focus with the pop culture. You're very aware with what's being released, being able to use that as a inspiration for your account and your photos, man. It's so enjoyable. And your content is just, it's eye candy, man. And it's also eye candy for the part of reading the things that you say. So, kudos to you, man. Are you ever interested in maybe like writing a book or something like that?
No. because because I stress when I write, like seriously write. I've been featured like bless these people, but Exclude Collective has asked me to be as a cover artist of issue 7, so I had to write like a thing for that. Dan Leonard, Tiny Epic Photos with his Where Toys in, or With Toys in Mind account, asked me to take part in his book, and doing the photos and kind of being an artist came easy in those. Writing the supplement that went with it was the stuff that I stressed about until like the very end, where it was like, okay, Tom, you did everything else. You got to sit down and you got to do the writing. I do
Wow.
find when I actually, once I get like the first few sentences down, I can kind of flow, but I definitely write like I think and like I talk, and it's a lot of rambling. And I do, it's I don't think anyone would want to read a full book of that personally. Uh, but I don't know. I think writing a book would stress me out a little too much.
Okay, that actually surprises me because, just your open dialogue, I figured that you would have been just like, "I'm ready to write, my 7-page or my 7-book novel that I've planned for years."
If it comes off that way, then man, I'm so thankful that I've been able to fool everybody that I'm not a scared little boy online. Just
Hey, you
right.
you fooled me. You definitely fooled me. That's awesome, man. I know that you love to shoot the Hot Toys collectibles figures, and I wanna ask you this, just as a fun question. Is that your favorite line of figures to shoot? And if not, what is?
I would say yes, Hot Toys is definitely my favorite, thing to shoot. Like, when I look at one of the Hot Toys figures on my shelf, I can really take in the amount of detail. It's beautiful, it's great, and I love it, right? That's what most of my display cases are, all full of Hot Toys. I have a lot of 112, figures, whether they be Legends, some, Mezco stuff and SH Figure Arts and beyond, but none of those are actually displayed on any of my shelves. They used to be back in the day, but now they all like live in bins and stuff like that. But like all
Ah,
segmented. But all my hot toys are in my shelves. And but when I get them in front of my camera, I am seeing things that my eyes, even though I've been told by doctors that I have 20/20 vision, uh, but when I put them in front of my camera with my macro lens and stuff like that, I am seeing stuff that I never saw before. And I don't know, I feel like I'm able to kind of, when I capture it, I get a different, even love and appreciation of what craft Hot Toys puts into these figures.
Yes.
So, yeah, they are definitely my favorite, I would say for sure.
Do you have a favorite Hot Toy figure itself? Like, is there one that trumps all the other ones?
Oh, yes, of course, and that would be very easy for me to answer. It is, the 1/6 scale figure by Hot Toys Collectibles, Doctor Strange, from, the original Doctor Strange movie.
Nice. What
The
makes it your favorite?
the suit, his costume in that movie is so detailed with the amount of folds and the amount of patterning that's happening on it, and the fact that Hot Toys went above and beyond and captured all that in that costume. Again, I want to use quote unquote costume because it's not really a costume. It's it's kind of like garb in a way instead.
Right.
Uh, but it is just it looks beautiful in hand. It photographs beautifully. And even for photography, it's a great canvas for someone like me who likes to do like a lot of digital edits for me to kind of just go above and beyond and do like, have fun with, trying to make magic effects and stuff like that.
That's incredible, man. One of the things that I really loved about your cover for Exclude Collective was it number 7 that you said?
Yeah, number seven. It's just
Or number 7, the one you did the Batman, Suicide Squad, shot, and then you did was that the Suicide Squad? I don't wanna misquote
yeah,
here.
no, you're absolutely right. It was the
Okay.
Suicide Squad version of the Batman figure. Yeah.
I thought it was, and then you did a variant also, and that was with the Doctor Strange, right?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Man, I loved that cover. That was to me, that is like the all-time best Exclude cover, hands down. It really is. I
It's
love it.
funny. It's like Richie Nose Rain. When I had first originally posted that, he wrote to me as like, "Dude, this is my favorite thing you've ever done." And when he said that to me, because in my head, it was personally the thing I was the most proud of that I've ever done. And that's something I tried when Explu asked me to be the cover artist. Of course, I put like a lot of stress on myself to be like, okay, I'm going to be on the cover of this where previously before me, we had Trevor Williams, we had Jax Navarro, we had like amazing, like artists that I can only look up to and aspire to be as creative and as amazingly proficient as they are. And
Right.
I was following them like it has to be the best I could possibly do. And so I did that and I was proud of it. And to have Richie, another artist who I like look up to, who does amazing stuff, him say that to me, it's just like I don't know, I still get giddy over it inside.
Dude, it really is amazing. Like, I still to this day, I have like an ongoing collection of shots that I rotate in my mind that I use as inspiration. And that Batman shot, because I'm a huge Batman fan, that Batman shot on that cover to this day is just inspiration. I can just bring it up in my head and I'm like, okay, now I know where I need to go.
Thank you. The Batman one was actually a challenge too because the I did the Doctor Strange one first, and then I knew I wanted Batman to be shot in the exact same kind of way, so it could be a very easy swap for Jack, who runs Expo Collective, to kind of be like, all right, here's the two different covers. I could swap where the titling was, and trying to recreate a shot with your next shot, even with an entirely different figure, different color palette, different everything, is a challenge. And that was actually the photo that ended up being on the cover is a combination of three different photos all in one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I couldn't get the cape to do what I wanted to do, so I ended up taking the cape and cowl off and shooting that separately, and then digitally sewing that back into the photo after the fact. So
I never would have known that. That's amazing. And I think I saw behind the scenes where you actually shot the figure upside down. Is that right?
yeah, both figures, just so that way so Batman was great because his cape has actually, both figures have wires in their cape, but Hot Toys, their wiring is definitely made for, subtle flows. It's not made to sustain the cape because 'cause they're bigger capes, right? Like, if you took a Mezco cape and tried to make it, like, upside down, you could probably pull it off because they're small capes, not a lot of weight.
Right.
Uh, the Hot Toys capes, they actually weigh a lot on their own, right? So the wires was slowly droop back down. So to kind of get it so that they're kind of both flowing down, I kind of had to rotate the figure around so the cape was already looked like it was flowing down on its own.
That's amazing, and the fact that you were able to just think of that outside of the box and shoot like that, because 'cause I've never shot anything upside down. That's incredible. So did you use a Hot Toy stand to be able to achieve that?
Yep. Both. I think both figures I used just a standard dynamic flight stand, which is something that Hot Toys used to sell back in the day, which has a nice wide base, a little arm that you can kind of move around with a clip on it. And I just edited out the stand in post. Actually, I don't even think I had to edit out the stand on Batman because Batman being naturally like more of a darker figure, the stand kind of just faded into the darkness, into the shadows. So it kind of just like got lost in there. It was kind of perfect for my editing.
That is amazing. Well, we are actually going to take a short break and we will get right back to this amazing interview with Eye of Uatu on the Toy Photographers Podcast. I could have been recording. That was some good stuff right there. Let's
Same.
see. Avoid legal snags by telling people they're recorded. Hey, you're recorded, sir. Okay.
Oh, is that what we're doing? Oh my
Yep.
god. Oh
Yep,
my
I
god.
I'm recording this information, so you'll be recorded for the federal government.
I won't tell you about the bodies I have in my closet. It's all good. Oh,
We already know about the bodies. We already know about the bodies, so you don't have to worry about that. We will have our manager take care of that.
the manager. This is like Walmart. What's going on?
Yeah, clean up on aisle Tom.
I'm proud to have my own aisle. I work hard for this.
Well, welcome back, everybody. We're already getting right back into it to the Toy Photographers Podcast. This has been a most excellent episode. I am loving every minute of it with Mr. Tom, aka Eye of Uatu. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Very excited to get back into it.
I am too, man. I'm going to just drop this mic real quick for you here. And I love to ask this question to you guys who have a bigger following. But do you see yourself as an influencer, and how does it really affect you as an artist when you have that big a following?
Okay, that's a really good question. I definitely don't see myself as an influencer. Though I do have people being like, "Oh, I really love this shot, and it got me to buy this figure." And honestly, that's more of like a compliment of the work itself than it is feeling like an influencer. I'm like, "Wow, you like this figure enough that you're gonna go spend your hard-earned money on that." But I'm trying to put the figures that I like the most out there the best way I can. So I'm like, okay, I love this figure. So I'm hoping you guys do too when you end up buying it. Influencer though, I feel like that these days in 2019, it means something, right?
Yeah.
Something different. I'm not an influencer for any products. I'm not under anybody's contract. Yes, I do have a Sideshow Collectibles link on my page, but that's something that I reach out to them about to like fill out an application for stuff like that. That's not them coming to me, seeing my follower count and anything like that. So not in that regard, but having a certain number of followers definitely affects what I end up posting. I wouldn't say that it changes a lot of what I take pictures of and like what I end up like doing when I'm going out there and shooting photos.
Right.
But I know we talked about this a little bit before, but I post a certain amount of photos, but for every photo I post, there's probably like 60 or so you guys don't see. And
Really?
that, yeah, yes, very much so. Like my camera roll on my phone slash my camera card is always filled out to the max. It has, I think my phone has about like 56,000 photos on it or something like that now. It's gross. But
Wow.
yeah, it's nuts. It's just that's the thing. It's like because I have so many eyes or like so many followers or follower count number, I'm more hypercritical upon myself and what I end up putting out forward. If I'm not absolutely 100% happy with the shot, I will most of the time not post it. There are times where I'll say in the comments, like, I'm not 100% sure of this, but I always run my like a couple of my shots through like some of my friends and stuff like that. I'll send some stuff to Richie, I'll send stuff to Matt, who's Roll the Heart Six, stuff like that. And like don't kind of tell me like, oh, I like this, I don't like this, that kind of stuff. And if they really like it, and if I've been on the fence with it, I'll end up posting it. But having a certain number of people like about to see it, I'm always worried about putting my best foot forward. So if it's not what I'm thinking is the best I could possibly be doing with this idea or concept, I won't post it. So I think that's probably the biggest change since
Wow.
hitting a milestone, if you were.
That takes a lot of self-control, man, because, as creative people, we want to be able to put stuff out there,
Yeah.
and having that self-control to be able to say, "This isn't my best. I can redo this, or I can, shoot something more interesting." I've struggled with that personally, and it takes a lot of, insight and knowing what is your best. That takes a lot of, self-awareness, knowing what is your best. What is the thing that you could do better? And, like we said before we press record, everyone as an artist is, their own worst critic. And so when you're looking at something critically, sometimes maybe we can, be too harsh. And, it's great to have that feedback where you're able to send to a friend and, send to Richie or send to Matt and be able to get some feedback and say, "Hey man, this is really solid stuff." I do that with Scott Blind. And that's something that I love, being able to have that dialogue. And
I
it's amazing just being able to, bounce back with them. That's so cool, man.
Having
So
a sounding board helps out, like, tremendously with that kind of thing. Because like you said exactly, like, we get in our own head about it, and, like, we could be the most hypercritical of things that no one else would ever even notice about our work, right?
right.
Especially with, like, if we're talking Instagram specifically, it's this tiny little frame on our tiny little phones that no one's actually, like, looking at every tiny little detail. When I'm working and I'm digitally, like, removing dust and stuff like that from my pictures, I'm, like, zoomed in 600, 700% where things look, I'm, like, seeing the pixels. You couldn't see the pixels if your phone was the size of a house on, like, half these
Oh
pictures.
my
So
god.
it's like it's crazy, you know? So, like, no one else is ever seeing this stuff, but I am, and that's the stuff I work up.
But I think that's what sets you apart though and makes your content so good is that you have that attention to detail. And the fact that you're willing to go the extra mile makes it that much more enjoyable.
I definitely think, like, putting that onus on yourself, like, okay, I think a lot of us artists kind of go through this where when we come up with an idea for a shot, I think a lot of us instantly have an idea in our head of what that would kind of look like, right? And so if you set up the shot and you take it, that's just not quite hitting that idea that you had in your head. I personally, and I'm sure this is the same for most people, can't be helped but be disappointed by that, right? Because it's not quite what I had envisioned.
Right.
So if it maybe it doesn't come out in that photo session, I don't have, like, Jason said in his interview, where he has a special room kind of set aside. He can kind of, like, leave stuff set up and have lighting set up. I don't have a specific setup. A lot of my moments, like, I'm going out there and shooting in, like, my parking garage or stuff like that. I'm not gonna go leave my hot toy in the parking garage. So
Right.
it's like maybe I'll take it back. I'll go home and then I'll take it back out another day and I'll try again. As it depends on what the idea, if the idea meant that much to me and I really want to put that out there into the world, like, how can I possibly get what is in my head onto this photo? Then I'll try for it as many times as it takes.
That's incredible. So I'm actually going to go back. I'm going to backtrack in the script because I skipped a question and I want to ask you this now that you're talking about it is how long does it take you to get a shot that's in your head till it's ready to be posted? Like, what's the timeline?
So, the funny thing is, like, the timeline can range, right? Like, again, going back to the shot that if you're looking at my page recently, I did, the Darth Maul Kylo Ren stuff. That was like me just on a whim taking some pictures really quick. And then I edited it while watching. I'm currently slowly going through Naruto for the very first time. So, like, it was like editing it while watching, like,
Nice.
episodes of Naruto, and that's just in the background. So, like, my attention is, like, kind of half divided. So sometimes it could just be an hour, sometimes it could be 10 hours. It ranges. Um, there are some shots that I will deliberate on literally for like a month or 2 months before you guys see it. And sometimes
Wow.
I'll shelve it and then I'll come back like a month later and be like, okay, let me get back into editing this photo that I took because I do believe in the bones that I, actually captured on camera. What can I do with the editing to kind of bring it to the light that I saw in my head? So yeah, it
Wow.
can range a lot. I think you even said in a previous cast that it takes you about 10 hours on average. And I think honestly, if I were to average it all out, I'd be about the same with you.
Okay, about 10 hours.
Yeah,
That's amazing, man.
yeah,
In fact,
it
go
could be
ahead, go
20
ahead.
minutes, or it could be the 10 hours, so you never know.
Yeah, it's funny, right now, I had to, offload my camera because 'cause I'm getting hopefully ready to upgrade to a new Fujifilm, very soon, and I just posted a shot to my account today,
Oh,
uh,
Dakota.
and that to me, I felt almost dirty, like, the fact that I didn't take a long time to be able to get it ready to post, and I know that sounds stupid, but, like, it's goes back to that mentality is if I'm not working hard at my craft and I'm not putting in the hours, and I feel like it's not worth the time to do it. So, I may archive some of those shots. I know a lot of people do that where they're like, "You know what? I'm not really proud of this," and I'll archive it, but, um
I I would not. So personally, I have actually a pretty like strong feeling about the whole archiving thing. I don't think you should ever go through and archive shots. And this is just a personal,
Really?
yeah. So I've only archived one shot ever, and that was
What?
yeah, and that's only because I personally wasn't ready to hit like a certain milestone for my posts. Where I was like, okay, I wasn't ready to hit 1,000. Let me archive one or two. That way, I don't quite hit 1,000 just yet because it's not. I don't want it to be this personal milestone thing. But I like seeing the journey, the fails, the triumphs, the whole thing. So
Wow.
if I'm not liking a shot, chances are you'll see me instead maybe turn off comments or something like that, or do something a little bit different. But it will live on the page as a reminder to myself. Like this is where I was at this time. You could either do better or keep going. Just keep on striving for that goal that you're trying to hit.
Man, I don't know why that makes me cringe because, like, I have so many shots that I have archived, and now I'm, like, rethinking, I'm like, "Maybe I need to go back," but I think everybody has their own method when it comes to this madness that we call Instagram. I got some big questions for you here now. I'm gonna throw these rapid fire at you if you wanna see what you have in mind and in store for our listeners. Do you have any, like, big moments that you look in your journey as a toy photographer that you're like, "Okay, pinch me, did that actually happen?"
Yeah, so I did a shot a little while ago of, it was right after the late great Stan Lee passed away, where I did like a memorial to Stan Lee kind of photo of
Oh,
like
yeah.
my impression of like what his legacy meant to me. And seeing not just the response that that got, but that photo winding up in a school newspaper in Texas, and they reached out to me like, "Hey, read
What?
this newspaper," and then I was reposted by Heavy Metal, the magazine, and like like all these. It took on a life of its own, right? And that was like just
Whoa.
I will never be this guy where I could do this on a consistent basis, but I will ride this wave while I can. I feel there's something about it though, like, feeling we were talking about feeling dirty a second ago through the archiving. I kind of feel a little bit dirty in the way that it is like I'm not ever trying to ride on the coattails of like a negative moment at all, but it just happened to
Right.
be on this amazing man who meant a lot to me. So I did this post for him, and I don't want it to be like, oh, I used the death of Stan Lee to kind of like further myself, but it was just it kind of like had it took on that life that I couldn't stop, and I just appreciated everybody's kind of like love of it. Yeah, that was definitely one of those things that blew me away.
That post for me is one of those posts that I will always remember. Like, it's an amazing post, dude. That's incredible.
Thank
And,
you.
I think you need to frame that and blow that up if you haven't already.
I haven't. I've been planning on doing a little special like print, maybe like one of the year kind of anniversaries of after he had passed. I want to do a print of it and donate the money, the proceeds of that goes to like the Hero Initiative, which raises money for a lot of creators of comics and the artists, writers that didn't kind of get their contracts right when they first started off because it wasn't the same world we live in today, where everything is contract based, and like kind of give back to that. So I'm kind of waiting till I get my own ideas and affairs in order to kind of get that see it through to fruition to do that. But I do plan on doing that at some point.
Wow. That'll be awesome. I can't wait to see it when it's on your wall, man. That's gonna be a beautiful piece for sure.
Thanks.
So, now that you've kinda mentioned that's a big win for you. Like, and like you said, you don't want to ride on the coattails of anything negative. Where do you kind of first see yourself to be? Let's just look, in the future. Where do you want to be in 10 years, with your toy photography journey? What do you see yourself doing in the future?
I mean, so it's hard to tell. I mean, I feel like the internet changes day over day, right? It's like a completely new animal every day you wake up, kind of thing. Like, and it's honestly all in the backs of like what apps like Instagram decide to do with their platform, right? We're all using their platform. If they want to change up the game, we're all kind of just taking the backseat ride along with that. I personally, for my own work, I just want to keep going and keep learning and keep trying new techniques. I definitely do the thing where whenever I hang out with other artists, like I hang out with Nightwing 2110, and he's more of a like, here, let me use these diodes and stuff like that. And so I'm trying to like learn dio stuff from him, or I've hung out and shot alongside of Jack's Blackstick Action before, and he'll use like kind of crazy special effects and wire stuff. And I'm trying to like learn stuff from him. So it's like I want to keep learning from the other artists that are out there and out there doing stuff that, I'm inspired by. So hopefully just kind of keep progressing that craft. And this is really just a kind of a creative outlet for me. So I don't really see it as being anything that's going to like become my new profession. I don't think that it's a professional career yet. Maybe 10 years from now it will be, and maybe that's the thing. But who knows what the future may bring. But I'm just gonna just keep trying to work on the art and just kind of improve myself.
Man, that's incredible. I definitely foresee you to be a pillar in this community for many, many years to come because just the type of person that you are and the quality of person that you are, we need more people like you, sir. So that's going to be incredible to see your journey along that road.
Thank you. Where do you see yourself in 10 years, actually?
Oh man. Oh, okay. All right. I
And,
can
the
I
toy
can
photography
easily
aspect.
answer that question. Well, actually, I mentioned before I have a diorama company. I
Mhm.
foresee myself to be kind of going in a more out of the box format with that. I actually would love to be able to create a space for diorama creators and for toy photographers on a global scale and to be able to have a hub in every big city where people can go and meet. And I don't know the name for it yet, but I want to create a space that can basically toy photographers can come and take their figures and take their cameras and have dioramas, hundreds of
Have it ready.
setups. The artist
Yeah.
set up in a space that's, beautifully lit, a beautifully designed space where you can come in, and I don't know how I'm gonna do it just yet, all the specifics, but I wanna create a platform to be able to connect this community, and, if there's an investor out there listening to this and they say, "Hey, that sounds profitable," message me, let's do it. I wanna do it. I really foresee this community becoming something so much more than it already is because when you create with like-minded people, great things happen. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So I want to have that space, man. I really do. In 10 years, I foresee toy photography being this mainstream, not in the negative sense, but a very accessible thing that people aren't limited to their house where they can go to a place and it's 7 days a week where they can go meet up and go shoot and have plenty of opportunities to have figures to be able to shoot, all the specifics aside. I wanna create a community that's gonna be potentially the sky's the limit, so
So
that's what I wanna.
I gotta be completely honest with you. I'm like getting goosebumps just even thinking about that idea because I love the idea of like me not having to go out there and buy a specific dio that I'm gonna have to find a place to store in my house, something like that. But I can actually go to a place knowing that there's like, there's the 112 dio area, there's the 1/6 dio area, and I can kind of go bring my figures, do some shots, meet up with other people in the community and collaborate on stuff like in person. Like, hey, what do you guys want to go today? Instead of like doing the shots in the park that would always stress me out with having like people walking by like, ew, what are they doing? Like you're going to a place where it is like everybody there is there for the love of the toy photos and like the community itself. And I love that idea and I fully back it. Fully
Thank
back
you,
it.
man. Thank you. I want to do it. I've always said this to anybody who asks me this question. I foresee toy photography getting bigger and bigger, but I want it to be a closer knit community as it gets bigger. So the way you do that is you provide a space to be able to connect. And just like, basketball players go play basketball on the basketball court together and you get better as you
Yeah.
play with better players. You want to get better at photography, better at, your craft, go be with people that are the Michael Jordans, the Kobe Bryants of toy photography. That way you can enjoy it more. You know what I mean? It's going to be more enjoyable as you progress in your hobby. It's not enjoyable if you just stay stagnant. But yeah, man, I'm so excited. I get chills just thinking about it. Just like thinking of a network that's going to be global. You know what I mean? It's going to be so
Yeah.
much fun.
I could see that being in like, you kind of start off in the major cities and then from there kind of spans out because it's like that, like, the company we work where it is like everybody kind of get together and kind of work together in like a place because people work better surrounded by other people also doing work that, are diligent about it, creative people, they inspire one another. And if they're all doing the kind of same thing, exactly as you said, you kind of pick up, you know, techniques and things like that from your fellow photographers or fellow artists and to kind of share those minds and kind of maybe work through a problem with another person, it makes all the difference. Like I did a toy safari through toyphotographers.com. They run a toy safari every year, and I did one last year. And I went with Richie was there and Jax was there, and like so many amazing artists were there, like Eva and Eric, just fantastic people. And I picked up so many different techniques being surrounded by 30 different artists that I was just blown away, and I couldn't imagine being able to do that on like a weekly basis.
Wow.
It
Yes,
was
I love that safari. I followed that every single time you guys posted, and I was like seeing so many cool interactions between everybody. That was a really fun experience you guys had, and I really wanted to be a part. I was sitting on my phone on my couch. I was like, man, I wish I was doing that with those guys.
Dude, that thing that your concept is basically putting that idea into cities, like into a place that you
Yes.
go to on a weekend. It's not like you don't have to plan for an entire year what this safari is going to be. It's like, no, it's Saturday. What am I doing? Oh, hey, let's go over to whatever you end up deciding to name it, and let's go to shoot some photos together. Let's go do that. Let's meet up there. I think
Exactly, and that is the goal, that is the plan. Dude, I could just daydream all day about that. Like, I literally have so many ideas and so many plans, and if anybody tries to steal it, you know what I'm saying? Hey, more power to them. I want it to happen. I'm
that's a
not
good
trying to
answer.
I'm not gonna be the overlord of this community. I don't own anything. All I wanna do is promote and to be a positive force for
Don't
good
be
in this
scared.
community.
On top of that, not being Dakota saying that if you do decide to try to steal that idea, bring Dakota in on it. Obviously, the guy has great ideas. Bring him in, have him help you out, help him be like the spearhead on this because I think he's going to do it right.
Thank you, man. Yeah, and I mean, I definitely have more ideas, and then I hold some of them close to my chest because I know I got some aces in the hole for sure. Um, I'm excited, man. It's gonna be awesome. I'm so glad that you asked me that question. I've been wanting to talk about it, and no one has asked me that yet. So thank you for asking me.
Of course, I was so intrigued. I'm like, it's hard to think about the future, right? And so like when everybody asks me and I'm like put on the spot, I'm thinking about it, I'm like, this is so difficult to think about it. And then you ask it back and to get the instant response, I'm like, I love knowing that people have been like dreaming about their plans, their goals, their like, their drive, what, pushes them forward. And I think that that's what inspires us all is kind of like, what's next? And kind of bringing that
Exactly.
to how do you bring that to today?
Exactly, and that's the attitude and the reason why I started 112 Collective feature page. That's the reason why I do my toy photography. That's the whole attitude behind it. It's not to it's not to take away, but it's to give. If you're giving, you're gonna get back. So it's that karma initiative where you're able to the things you've invested in, they will come back to you eventually. It may not be right away, but it'll happen.
Yeah, definitely. I love it.
So I got a question for you here. Is there a shot, and I'm going to call this a Grail shot that you have not done yet that you kind of have in your mind, or maybe you're working on that you haven't posted? Is there something that you want to share? Maybe that you're like, this is the end all be all Grail shots, or maybe one that you've already done.
So, when I was getting to 1,000 posts, I'm actually nearing, oh god, very nearing 2,000 posts. This might have been a little while ago, although I think I posted a lot in the past. last 1,000 posts, so maybe not that long. I had intended on taking all of my Marvel superhero 1/6 scale figures and doing a big action sequence. This is before Endgame came out, but I guess it's easy enough to, equate it to that moment in Endgame when all of the entire Marvel universe kind of pops out of those portals and have them all kind of like together rushing the camera. Like that was like my big kind of dream shot. And I didn't quite get it. I posted a couple shots from different angles. I couldn't get the shot of them all together because, I have like, I think about 30 to 40 different Marvel Hot Toy figures. So it was like hard to kind of get in one frame. But I would love to figure out a way. And I think I got to play with verticality a little bit more. And I think that's where I kind of fell off and trying to get them all in there.
Oh man.
That would probably be the one. But trying to, and I know even Jason brought this up a couple episodes ago, where it's like it's hard getting full body hot toys. Imagine trying to do that with 30 full body hot toys.
You would need a massive, massive backdrop. You would need like
I
something
can
out in the
get
desert.
studio to do this. That's what I would need. So you know what?
Yeah.
When you come up with this and you make that a real space, I will return to this idea and I will make it an actual thing.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be oh my gosh, I know. I could literally make a almost like a football stadium sized that's how big I literally envision it to be. Like, I
Yeah.
don't envision it to be like the size of like a, comic shop. I envision it to be like a football stadium size where, like, people can go in and have backdrops that are like 30, 40 foot long, you know what I'm saying? Like, have
Yeah.
incredible amount of, space to work with.
Well, when you're shooting with diodes, especially, it's a lot of you got to play with space in a way where you're not just thinking about the background. It's easy enough to think about the background, but playing with the foreground is what sets a character in that space. So if you have a nice, like, long diorama to shoot, you want your character not in front of it all. You want him somewhere in the middle so you can kind of use some good foreground elements. And I know Jason talked about this again. And I'm going to keep bringing up Jason because he's amazing. And I had just
Yes.
asked like 2 days ago, and he's an amazing inspirational artist and an incredible designer that I could only wish to be one day. And like playing with the space, the in front of the character is what makes it live there. And you need a football size level space
Yeah.
to be able to do that with multiple people, multiple setups, things like that. So for sure, I see that.
That would be an epic shot, man, whenever you do it, and hopefully you do it whenever we have the hub, the toy photography
Yeah.
hub or whatever we call it. We're gonna, like, frame that and, like, blow it up and put it on a poster board somewhere in downtown LA or something. That would be sick.
I would give it to you guys 100% to just use for whatever you would want.
So, that would have to be, like that would literally have to be, like, the poster that we use for the entire thing. That would be amazing.
That would be awesome.
All right, so let's move more into the community aspect. I know you wanted to talk about this, man. Where do you think the action figure community, the toy community, the toy photography community really needs to focus on? And, when I say that, like, what do you think we can be better at as human beings? And what are the things we do good at? What are the things we're not good at? Let's break it down.
Well, we started to talk about it in the beginning a little bit about, shooting for likes, shooting for tolerance, that kind of stuff. And I think that that's a mentality that I think that if you're shooting for that stuff, try to step back from caring about how many likes your photo gets, how many comments your photo gets, and instead focus in on the work itself. Focus on the passion of why you're doing what you're doing so people respond to the passion, even if you don't maybe have the techniques down yet. That'll all come in time. And I think, a lot of people on there, I want to say Spencer brought this up, Jesse brought this up, Jason brought this up. We're all here working together. Ask anybody who, like, maybe you look up to, ideas, pointers, things like that, and they'll help you out with the technique stuff. But the passion is not something that we can help. That you have to bring yourself. So if you're coming at it with a passion, I think that that's how you're going to succeed in the community. And I think that that's something where the community is founded actually on that idea. Like, we love toys. We love the things that our toys are made licensed from, whether it be Star Wars, whether it be Marvel, whether it be, Master Chief from Halo or things like that. Like, they're the properties that we love. And the reason why we own these figures is because we love it. Bring that love to the work. Don't worry about any of the other stuff. I think one of the ideas that Instagram themselves had that I actually thought was controversially pretty smart was hiding the amount of likes. Um, because I do think that it'll kind of get you to stop stressing about, well, the photo I just posted only did 100 likes. It only did 50 likes. I did the session. I only got 100 likes. Yet 500 people did it. How does that work? Don't even stress it. Don't worry about it. Get
Right.
out there, shoot another shot, post again. There's always another day. There's always another picture. There's always another thing. Like I have as of today, like I think 11,000 followers or something like that. I'll post something, it'll get 200 likes. That's what 1% of the amount of followers I have.
I know.
That could be considered a fail, but I don't consider it a fail because I like the photo enough to post it. So there we go. It's out there. I did my thing, and I'll move on to the next one. It is what it is, and you just
That
kind of keep going.
That is a great, great way to look at it because we have mentioned it before. The algorithm on Instagram, it doesn't make sense. You're not able to view the people's photos that you follow on your homepage unless you're just constantly going through intentionally liking every post. It just doesn't really work. Having that mentality is like it makes you love the craft so much more when you're able to just post and just say, I did it, I enjoyed it, 1,000 likes or 50 likes, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? The likes, it's just really, if you break it down in a simple, stupid way to look at it, it's just somebody taking their thumb and tapping a screen. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
That's all it is. At the end of the day, is that really gonna make you sleep better? Is that really gonna,
Exactly.
make you
And
feel
it's
better
like
about yourself, you know?
if you focus on that, you then just end up stressing about that, and you're not even like caring about your work anymore. You're more shooting towards likes, which is an impossible thing because of the algorithm, as you mentioned. Is like it's funny because like if I follow a new person, I like two of their pictures or something like that. The next 10 posts in my feed, guaranteed, are stuff from their page, which means that, like I said earlier in the cast, like I follow about 2,000 different people. That means that there is 1,999 people that I'm not seeing. And
Wow.
what does that mean? Like, do I never see their stuff? Yes, that's exactly what it means. It's terrible. It doesn't mean that their pictures aren't good. The pictures are great. That's the reason why I follow them in the first place. But
Exactly.
it's not likes, comments, that stuff is not indicative of your work, especially in an algorithm based social media world. You gotta stop paying attention to it, caring about it, because it's going to only to like drain your enthusiasm of what got you into the hobby in the first place. You probably got into it because you liked seeing other people shoot photos, or maybe you just really liked. I noticed a lot of people on the cast started because of The Force Awakens. You like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Get back to that love. Just find that love, and you'll be fine.
I love this quote that says, "Do what you love, and everything else will kind of fall in line." Like, if you just love what you do and you're passionate about what you do, and you're not doing it to like impress anybody, but you're doing it because you love it. Oh my gosh. I know this is funny. I actually bring this up because I know that you're a big Tom Misch fan, right? You like Tom Misch?
Yeah, yeah, I do. Yes, I do like Don Niche.
Okay, so he has this one quote on his album Geography that says at the very beginning of the album, he says, I don't think it's him, it's actually another guy. He's saying if you love what you do, if you do what you love, you're going to get good at your craft, but also like you have to put in the hours where like if you weren't getting paid for this, if you weren't, getting notoriety for this, I guess we could look at it from that aspect. If we weren't getting likes, would you still be doing it? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, if you didn't have 1,000 followers or 10,000 followers or 11,000 followers, like, would you still be doing it? And the answer for us is yes, we would still be doing it. We would still be taking the photos because it doesn't matter about the algorithm. It doesn't matter about the things we can you get back from it because we're artists. We want to create.
I
And
used to I would draw my sketchbook every day, regardless if I showed it to anybody or not. It's the exact same thing. Like my sketchbook is for me, therefore my photography is for me. I just happen to post it and every now and again. Like I said, it's like one out of 60 that I'll post. So it's not for everybody else. It's for me. As long as I enjoy it, I'll throw it out there into the world. And if everybody else likes it, great. If not, no big skin off my back. Just keep going.
Nice. I know you live out there in California, and this is a crazy side comment question. I know you live out there. Do you have any like views or personal like methods on healthy living, exercise, et cetera? Like, how do you kind of incorporate that into your daily routine, and does that affect your toy photography, or what? How do you kind of view it?
That's a very wow. That is a very interesting question. And I think what Jesse said is something that kind of like resonated with me in a way where he's like, if you're on that exercise bike, you're kind of like forced to think about things and kind of like reflect inward, right? And I always felt with a healthy body comes a healthy mind.
Yes.
However, I say that, but up until exactly 1 month ago, for the past 2.5 years, I have a lot of mental health things with like, I suffer from depression. I'll be out there, like, I'll talk about it openly. I suffer from depression, anxiety, all this kind of stuff. ADD, I have that diagnosed with ADD, like that kind of stuff. And it's just like, it's hard to just mitigate the daily life. So for the past 2 years, I kind of fell in like a weird spot where I used to work out every day. And it was the best mental health I've ever been in, best physical health I've ever been in. And it was bad for a while. And that's kind of funny enough. That kind of like coincides with when I was doing when I kind of got really serious about toy photography. I was spending like all my free time doing that, and I was kind of getting a little bit of the benefit that I used to get from going to the gym back from like conversations with people. It's like that same kind of thing. But now that I'm doing toy photography at the same time that I restarted back up at a gym, I'm going 4 days a week. I do feel a lot more better in my mind because, like Jesse said, I'm thinking about more of things while I'm doing other stuff. I'm doing something good for my body, but while I'm doing that, I'm also thinking about like, okay, hey, I got to pay this bill when I get home. I got to do this. I'm getting my life in order, and it's good for you in body and mind. So I'm not the poster boy for it. If you saw me, I'm definitely not the poster boy for clean and healthy living. I drink beer, I smoke marijuana, that kind of stuff. But otherwise, I do try to, not let myself go too far.
Right. And that's amazing though that you can look back and notice that the last 2 years of your life, whenever you were doing some of the most artistic things is when you're advancing your toy photography craft was, you were working out. And so that's something that I love to do as well. And I actually my job is very physical, so I don't have to work out, but I actually do go, I'll go hit the treadmill for 10 minutes. And for me, what I do is I run a mile in 10 minutes, and
Nice.
then after that, I hit the weights, and that to me, dude, I get into this headspace where I'm so positive, and I'm listening to, like, music that's just getting me pumped or jacked or
Yeah.
whatever it may be, and then I leave the gym feeling so refreshed and ready after I go work at a very physical job. And so I'm not saying you have to do that. I'm just saying for the people listening, I think it's imperative as toy photographers that we keep our bodies in check as much as our minds too, because I love the Jim Quick stuff. I don't know if you listen to Jim Quick, but he always talks about as your body moves, your brain and your mind grooves. So when you're moving and you're being active, your mind is doing the same thing. And being able to go and hit the gym, it's going to really affect your art too. It's going to help your art. It's going
Yeah.
to help you think clearer because your brain is a muscle. So if you learn how to exercise your brain, you're going to be able to create better things. And it's funny, I used to struggle with depression too. And one of the things that I have noticed in the last 5 to 6 years of my life is I don't struggle with it anymore, and I wouldn't equate it really to any one thing other than just focusing on the things that I enjoy, focusing not on because I really kind of transitioned from caring what people thought about me so much, and I really care about what I think of other people, and that to me what matters. If I think negatively about other people, then I'm going to be upset with myself because it shouldn't matter if someone's mad at you, but it should matter if you're mad at someone else. You ever heard that old saying? It's like when you don't go to sleep when you're mad, don't go to sleep when you're angry because it's gonna affect you the rest of your next day and the next day and the next day.
Oh
And
yeah.
I don't mean to go down a rabbit trail, but
No, I mean, this is it's toy photography adjacent in an interesting way because it really does like going to sleep angry isn't going to help you. You'll wake up more refreshed if you go to sleep with a positive mind. from the get-go, and you do get a positive mind. And it's hard, I think, for a lot of us. And I, like, again, not the poster boy for this at all whatsoever, but nothing feels better than when you have an enriched day, whether you put work in a physically exertive job, or maybe it isn't. I sit at the computer all day. It's terrible for me. But go to the gym for like an hour and a half, hour and a half. That's all it takes. And then I'll go home. When I'm sitting on the couch that night and I'm watching a movie or I'm playing a video game or doing something else, I feel just refreshed and
Yes.
ready. And I'm already going to go to bed positive, just because I did something for myself in a way where, I don't know, it's just like it does. It opens up your mind in a great way, and it'll then like incorporate creative flow into it. Like, you'll start thinking about things differently. You'll start thinking about the next shot or the next art piece that you're going to do or whatever it may be. And yeah, it's great. With healthy body comes healthy mind. So
Exactly, exactly. And the mental health is such an important thing for toy photographers, and learning that all of us have our kryptonite. As cheesy as that sounds, all of us have our things that we can fall, susceptible to, whether it's depression or whether it's whatever it may be, and that doesn't make us achieve and do our best. And the way to kind of pull yourself out of that is to focus on the things that you do enjoy, and focus on your thoughts and learning how to be a good steward of what you are thinking. If you can become so self-aware in that what you are thinking, and already acknowledge, okay, this thought process, I know where this one leads. I know what, because thoughts become behaviors and behaviors become your reality. So if you manage your thoughts well, and then you can essentially navigate your life in a better way. And that's not easy. That's not easily done. You have to be diligent, especially with your thought life. But that's some good stuff, man. It's quality. One thing I do, this is just a fun little fact that I have been doing for the last month that has just changed my life even more, is I know this sounds awful, but I take ice cold showers. I take ice cold showers, and it is so painful. I hate it. But when I leave the shower, I feel like Superman. I feel so good. And I didn't know this. I started studying cold showers, and what it does is it puts your body into this fight or flight mode, where you're basically killing off at a very microscopic level. You're killing off all of these. I know I'm butchering this, but you're basically, what you're doing is it's helping your body become more resilient. And so your resiliency helps your mental attitude. And it's known, it's proven to actually help with depression. And it's because when you get in that ice cold shower, man, you're definitely gonna be feeling it, bro. Like, you're gonna be like, I scream almost every time I get in the shower. I'm like,
it's an
but
eye-opening experience.
it is. What it does is it helps your mind. It helps you focus, and when you're in, when you're in the shower, that's when sometimes I get my most creative thoughts, is in the shower. And I actually took a cold shower right before this interview. So this is
Oh, really?
yeah, I do it, man. Right before every interview, I take a cold shower, ice cold shower, and it just puts me in this state of just super relaxed, ready to just tackle anything. So that's a fun fact for everybody out there. Do you wanna talk about your favorite foods? Do you wanna talk about the things that you enjoy? Like, just, like, favorite food, favorite beer? Like, I'm curious what your diet is, bro.
Sure. So, I definitely do the thing where I try to eat healthy Monday through Friday. Typically, Friday night is when I let myself go, and I'll let myself go till Sunday evening, and then I'm back on the healthy train. So, basically, during the week, I have like a lot of salads or fruit and yogurt, things like that. It's pretty much what I eat. It's mostly chicken during the week, and then on the weekends, honestly, I'll go out for huge breakfast. I posted a lot on my stories, my Instagram stories, about my massive breakfast, whether it be like, you know, 9 pancakes or so many Belgian waffles, like, would dressed up to the nines, or like this, that, and the other thing. I go out for like giant cheeseburgers, things like that. But it's all in moderation. So I try to do what I can for myself during the week. And then my weekend is my time to, I think life's too short to be worried about all that stuff all the time. And
Yeah.
I really do think that, like, I'm a foodie. So I want to live life eating the best food, because I think it's one of the best parts of life is enjoying all the
Yes.
food that's out there. And so, yeah, I will just imbibe all that stuff on the weekend. Same thing with the different types of beers that I like. Like, on the weekend is I'll go out to the different tap rooms around me. I live in San Diego now, and so, like, where I live, there's a tap room within every block or two from me. So I'd go to a
Wow.
tap room every weekend for almost half a year and probably not run out. It's great.
That's nuts. It's kinda like that here too in, I live in Lexington, Kentucky, and it is just nothing but bourbon and beer everywhere.
Yes.
So it is the bourbon
Country
capital
spirit.
of the world. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, if you literally can just get bourbon at anywhere, it's so accessible. But I'm actually not a bourbon guy, so it's funny that I live here, but I don't actually drink it. But, that's cool, man. I mean, I definitely do the self-care thing too. Like, I actually do intermittent fasting, throughout the week, and on the weekends, I don't do intermittent fasting. So what I do is if anybody doesn't know what intermittent fasting is, it's a compressed window of time where you are getting all of your eating done in, like, an 8-hour window. So I won't eat from the time I go to bed, which is normally between 8 and 9 o'clock, and then I won't eat again till the next afternoon till around 1 to 2 PM, and then I'll just eat and eat and eat and eat and eat, and,
I have
that's
my 3 square meals that I live like, literally my day is around my meal times. I'm like, "Okay, get up, take the dog for a walk, come back, make breakfast, feed him, eat, then take him again for another walk, eat, then get out of work, take him out again, come back, eat, and then go to bed." So then wake up the next day, do it again.
dude, I if you wanna try it and you wanna see, some crazy results, if you're just wanting to get more results in your diet, it's a lot of fun, and actually it makes it less stressful because you don't have to really plan your meals, and I know people that are 3 meal a day people, like, that's great. I commend it. I can't do it. For me, because when I just eat everything in sight. When I start eating at 2 PM or 1 PM, I just go through the fridge and I just destroy it. I go through it all. But, yeah, it's fun, and then like you said, on the weekends, you kinda have your self-care where you go out and you get your pancakes and you just go crazy, and I do the same thing. Like, I'll just go like, last night, my wife and I, went to the Friday night, dinner that we normally do, and I had, like, 5 platefuls of food, and I just hammered it all, and, I'm still keeping that lean figure because I'm not stressing about it, because I know my body's gonna burn it off because I burn a lot of calories, but, anyway, this is related to toy photography, just so you know. This is all related, guys.
Oh,
This is
totally.
we're
100%.
solely related. So, when you take care of yourself and you take care of your, mental state, you're gonna produce better content. So for photographers they are like, "What is this guy talking about?" Just remember, you take care of yourself, yourself will take care of you. So, um that sounds kinda meta, but
Yeah, hey, it's true though. I mean, it really is like one does definitely influence the other. So,
does.
but again,
Does.
I do want to stress out there for myself personally. I want to get out there. I want to enjoy what life has to offer, whether it be food, drink, whatever. So don't let that kind of stuff dictate your life unless that's what you're into. If you're into health and wellness 100% of the time, be into it. Just be into it what you're into and just know that you got one chance at this whole grand thing that we call life and just bring to it what you want to bring to it and get out of it what you want to get out of it and know that and just
Yeah,
care about that. And once you go at it with that kind of attitude, I think you'll live a life that's more enriched.
I agree, and I definitely don't frown upon anybody's particular eating habits. I wasn't saying that at all. So,
I was definitely didn't get that from it. So
I just want to, I want to make sure people know that when they take care of themselves, like, I'll keep saying it probably till I finish, the next 100 episodes of this podcast. Like, when you take care of yourself, man, it's really gonna produce better content, and I know this is for somebody out there, so just think about it. So do you have any tips for people that want to start doing toy photography? Because I know you said that when you started, you're like, "Oh, I can't believe this stuff I started out doing." Like, versus the things you do now. Do you have any tips for someone that's just getting started? Like, what would you kind of give them as a reference or what to do or not to do?
I was tell you if you're just starting out into photography now and you're just kind of getting into it and you're looking what's out there and you're trying to compare yourself to other people, stop. Don't compare yourself to anybody else's work. You are you. You're gonna bring what you bring to it. Don't try to recreate what other people are out there doing, try to bring your own personal thing to it. And the most important thing you could possibly do is just bring your passion to what you're doing. Why are you doing toy photography? What brings you to this hobby that maybe you want to try it? Is it because you like this property that you're taking pictures of a figure of? Then play up to that property. If you really just love this figure, then play up the photographs of that figure. Like bring your passion to your photography and it will show through. I think when people tend to like fall into holes and do one thing, or like they feel like this is the only one way to do this, then that's when they kind of like start to resent the whole idea of toy photography. And I feel like that's the problem. Is like you don't want to go into it thinking that it has to be something, because nothing about toy photography has to be anything. It's art. Art is subjective. It's
Right.
what you like. It's what you find to be good. Just bring your own personal brand to it. Bring your own personal enjoyment to it, and I think that you'll get the best out of it. If I could bring it like a technique style thing to the table, I would say, work with what you feel comfortable with at first, and then slowly start trickling in new techniques as time goes. Don't think that you have to start compositing backgrounds. Don't think you need to, follow like, the Digirama thing from the get go unless you feel comfortable with it. Go for it. But start small and kind of work your way up. Maybe incorporate a new technique every shot that you take. And I think that, little baby steps will kind of get you to where you want to be.
That is some amazing advice. And for everybody out there that is starting out, Tom has been doing this for a while, so he knows what he's talking about. Well, I want to kind of close it out here, just kind of open up the mic for you, Tom. Is there anything that you want to say, maybe to your people that follow you, or just kind of leave it some closing remarks for the listeners?
I would say my number one thing that I think I always say when I say to my followers, I'm like, thank you for following me, and I'm sorry. Uh, because I'm pretty dumb in a lot of things that I post. I like joking around. I'm very sarcastic. I just try to be have fun. Honestly, that's my thing. So I hope that if you're following me, you're there to have fun too. And I think that's like the best thing about how the community. It's just a place to have fun with one another. It's a place to you know share our enjoyment of numerous things, whether it's the toys or the properties that the toys are based on. And yeah, honestly, I just want to keep having that kind of funds having that kind of fun with everybody, and having more conversations. And please never feel afraid to reach out to me and chat over DM. I'm always down for a good conversation, And yeah, if you're out there and you're shooting, just keep shooting, keep providing content, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Make art.
Well, there you have it, folks. Where can people connect with you, Mr. Tom, on the social medias?
I am Eye of Uatu on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I would say that I'm mostly on Instagram. So if you want to be anywhere, Instagram is the place. Facebook, I'll post some higher res pictures of my stuff every now and again. Twitter is more of a place where I want to have like more conversations. Twitter's not, I don't do the one image where I post it and I repost everywhere. Um, I don't like cross posting personally. So, if you want that kind of stuff, follow me there too. Otherwise, I am on YouTube as a part of the 1/6 pack, and you can find us as a part of the X Blue Collective. Other than that, yeah, Instagram is my mainstay. So join me there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tom, for coming on. And you can also find me at Dagobah_days. You can find the Mezco 112 Collective feature page at 1.12.collective. And you can find the Toy Photographers podcast at Toyphotocast. And remember, everybody, we are storytellers. So get out there, go shoot some toys, have some fun, and maybe one day you'll meet some people that you might like. You never know. Just like Mr. Tom. Peace out, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.